more present to, that I've been on a path to for the last 7 years and really a lifetime. Really the role of media and how it's playing out and what's necessary in the evolution of women today. Because I truly believe that there is a revolution happening, and it is a new modern women's movement that is emerging. And it is one that is more feminine in nature versus feminist. And in gratitude, we thank the feminist movement for knocking down doors and breaking down walls and creating a space in a world that had been run by so much masculine energy. But we are now, it's time to shift into the feminine energy, which is more nurturing, more soft. It's about magnetizing things to you. It's about loving allowance and intuition. And that's really what I'm going to share in these next few moments and probably for the rest of my life. What is completely necessary in this planet. I just got back from a wonderful talk that I was giving in my hometown of Oswego, New York. I was flown into SUNY Oswego State University there to talk on what we titled it Leading Ladies, the New Power of Women in the Workforce. And as the talk got closer and some current events started happening, I realized that it's really about leading ladies, the new power of women in the world. So I shifted the talk because what I realized that what was happening in the media, I was starting to look at one particular thing that was present, and it's this young girl named Heidi Montag. And I don't know if any of you have heard of her at all. But she is a 23-year-old woman who got on a reality TV show, probably because of her looks. She's a beautiful blonde girl. And after being on that show for a very short time, she went in and got a lot of plastic surgery. And recently, she just went in and had about 17 more procedures done. And she basically had, at the age of only 23, she had her breast implants increased to triple Ds, a brow lift, a nose job revision, lipo on her stomach and thighs, and a butt augmentation, among other things. And she explains her unending quest for perfection, and I thought this quote was quite interesting because I'll tell you my story in a second and it'll relate to that. But she said, I was made fun of when I was younger, so I had insecurities, especially after I moved to LA. Okay, was anyone here not made fun of when they were younger? Right. Does anyone not have any insecurities? Okay. You know, people said I had a Jay Leno chin. They'd circle it on blogs and say nasty things, and it bothered me. And when I watched myself on the hills, my ears would be sticking out like Dumbo. So I just wanted to feel more confident and look in the mirror and be like, whoa, that's me. I was an ugly duckling before. Her husband feels that she was perfect to begin with. But of course, he's a good man, a modern man. He supports her in her decision. So we'll just table that for a second because I want to get into my story and what it is that really empowers me and why I'm sharing this today. I grew up in a family with 3 other sisters and a mother who struggled with her weight her entire life. Beautiful woman, but really had weight issues. So all of her life she was dieting, she wouldn't leave the house without lipstick. And granted, we grew up in the public eye. My dad was in politics, and they were, you know, sort of high society people in my little hometown. So we got, from an early age, my sisters and I were really put in the spotlight. And so it's really about, you have to look a certain way and be a certain way to the public, which I think we all can relate to on some level, regardless of your upbringing. So I grew up with some self-esteem issues. Even though my mom really empowered us to be, you know, love ourselves and encouraged us, when you watch your mother struggle to that degree with her own body image, you can't help but start to internalize your own. And of course, where there's women, we're always complaining about, oh, God, I'm fat in these pants, and you know, this, that, and the other thing. And even as my sisters, we come home and we immediately comment, I don't so much, but we notice that the first thing you say is, oh, you've lost weight, you look great. So it's sunk in. So then I moved to Los Angeles. I went to film school, decided, okay, I'll come out to LA, and got caught up in music videos and television commercials. So I was in that world of, seeing what it, especially in the music video industry, it was a lot of those, the go-go dancers and the hoochie mamas, and, and it was kind of intense, and the things that you would hear them say about the casting calls about these women, it was pretty devastating, really. But again, it seeps in. So I started to feel a little bit worse about myself being here in LA. I mean, you're bombarded by billboards. In fact, I just learned recently that every day we get bombarded with about 8,000 marketing messages. Now, I know that's got to be true in LA, maybe double that. But that's a lot of messages that are seeping into our consciousness on some level. And most of them I found are images of ideal beauty standards. So we can't help but start to doubt ourselves when we're out in the world. So I came to LA and I immediately got my first set of fake nails, plucked my eyebrows, went to several consultations to have a breast augmentation, had the doctor picked out, and decided that was not my path. My righteous babe, which kicks in from time to time, said, you know what? I can't do this because it doesn't feel like I'm doing it for myself. Even though you go into those doctor's offices, and I think I went to 10 consultations altogether, and they're always telling, oh honey, you're gonna feel so great, you're gonna feel so good about yourself, you're gonna feel so wonderful. Meanwhile, they've got their lips stuffed and their breasts done, and it's a world. It's a world. So I chose not to, and one day I was literally standing in line at the grocery store, and there was all those racks of magazines right there at the checkout stand, and I started to feel really bad about myself just by looking at those magazines. And I started to feel like if I didn't look like that, or I didn't have that guy, or if I didn't dress that way, that I'm not sexy or beautiful, or I'm not really truly a woman. So I started to feel bad, and I started to go down the tubes, and then my righteous babe kicked in again and said, wait a second, there's got to be a better magazine out there for women. In this day and age, yoga's on the rise, consciousness is everywhere, there's got to be that magazine. So I started looking for it. And I spent 2 years searching for this magazine. And I found a lot of great magazines, but they were very niche. Too yoga, too political, too feminist, too health-oriented. I didn't find a real lifestyle magazine that says you can be fabulous, you can be feminine, and you can love yourself.